And we're back to discuss Atomic Blonde. And if you saw our review, we were mixed on it. They liked it. I didn't. I think what it comes down to for me is a couple of things. As far as my expectations on the music fight scene mashup thing, I wanted the movie to feel more like a series of music videos that told a story. I wanted it to be a thing where a scene would build up, and then just as things were starting to kick off, a song would start, and the song would play, and we'd get more than 30 seconds of it at a time.
Okay.
But we never did. It seemed like anytime they started a song, they would stop it, and they would switch to something else, like they were just switching a radio dial or hitting next on their CD player. We got like the first 20 seconds of Cities and Dust by Susie and the Banshees. We got 2 different versions of Blue Monday for some reason. We got a cover version of Stigmata. Like, there were good songs in there that could have been used more effectively, and I think what it comes down to is they didn't make a nonstop action movie, so they couldn't make that really work. The movie, to me at least, feels like it was not written with the music in mind. It feels like the music was chosen and inserted, and then they kind of made a big deal about how it was used. A couple of times it's used in interesting ways. The way they use Voices Carry by Till Tuesday, where the chorus keeps saying hush hush, that comes back as a theme, or as a, oh crap, that's what they meant by that. That's why that was in there. That's the song that gets the most time because it takes place in 2 scenes, and the second one is a very important scene where we finally are allowed, or the movie finally decides to tell us that James McAvoy is a bad guy. It's like, yes, James McAvoy's been a bad guy this whole time.
As soon as he introduced himself, as soon as he picked her from the airport, in the car crash, I was like, okay, he's late, I'll give it to him, whatever his lifestyle is. But you already knew he was going to be a bad guy?
I knew once they showed John Goodman. I mean, I suspected pretty much from the beginning. I thought they were going to start throwing John Goodman more into Berlin as a red herring, like he was somehow pulling the strings, but he only showed up once. It's like, James McAvoy is the only actor that they're showing off. He's the only actor of a caliber and a name. He obviously is the antagonist of this movie.
Well, they were kind of heavy-handed at the beginning with pointing him out as the antagonist, because they wanted you to believe that he was Satchel. They wanted you to believe that he was the double agent. And
do you think so?
He was the red herring.
You think?
Yeah.
You think they made that point? Because
what I'm saying is,
every scene was dedicated to telling you. Every scene was dedicated to telling you that he was Satchel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, even when they have the conversation, oh, I didn't know that you knew the other guy, there's a picture in the apartment. He was the only one who knew that I was going to his apartment. Sends the police. Goes into the bar and is like, oh, I didn't tell you I talked to so-and-so. So, it was just like, if this is supposed to be your contact or the person that's helping you out, and he's screwing you over or not giving you the information or withholding stuff, it kind of seems like, okay, well, this is the bad guy.
Yeah, every scene for the first hour was in service of telling you that this is the guy not to be trusted. This is the guy not to trust. And she doesn't trust him from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so you just know that information. And so when the plot actually develops into something in the last 15 minutes, and we find out that it's in fact her that is the double agent, and I guess a triple agent, because she's working for the Americans as well, that, like, the way that twist is developed and put across is like 2 scenes, a couple pages of dialogue maybe, and that's really it.
Yeah.
I did like that John Goodman called back and said, like, really? You called me at the beginning of the movie?
I didn't know how I felt about him when he came in and she's like, I don't want him in here. And I was like, okay, well that's gonna give me some, like he shouldn't be trusted. So I don't like him. But then when he came to visit her in Berlin and was like, you need to get on your shit, you need to get moving, I was like, oh, got it. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But because while they were interrogating her and going back and forth, I was still like, I wouldn't say anything. I would leave this and that out of the conversation. But, I mean, it turned out well, and...
Yeah, I mean, she was play acting for
British.
the
For
British.
everybody.
Yeah. She can't be trusted.
Like, I thought that was a beautiful part.
Well, not for John Goodman. He knew the whole time what was going on. And that's, I mean, her, like, pointing him out and keeping, like, insisting, like, are you sure you really want him here, was just a reverse psychology move of, I want him to stay here and hear all of this kind of thing.
I liked her fight scenes.
I thought they were good. The thing that I found really interesting was the best sequence in the whole movie wasn't set to music. And that just floored me. It was like, this whole movie's been building up to this, and it was really effective because it wasn't choreographed to the music. You couldn't, like, feel the cuts coming. It was just kind of that one long scene. The scene where she's protecting the spyglass guy.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone comes for her, and it's edited, but it's sort of,
like it's
they
a
film it like
one
it's a
shot.
single shot.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I thought it was interesting that it's obviously taking place in Germany. They played little snippets of the song 99 Left Balloons at like 5 different speeds throughout the movie, and it just seems so out of place in every scene.
Well, they were different versions and covers.
Still, it's a good song.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was the same version, just at different speeds.
no. There's a couple of different. I mean, there's only Nina did the 2 versions. There's a German and English version. They used the German version exclusively, and then there was like a slowed down cover of it that was set to sad music instead of happy music. Like, they pulled out Stigmata, which has a really recognizable drum pattern at the beginning, but they used the cover version of it. I think it's by Marilyn Manson, but don't quote me on that. The original's by Ministry. It's like, and the music is all stuff that I like. Honestly, it's just the way that it was used didn't feel right, and I really didn't appreciate that. Like, they could have taken out 5 or 6 songs from the movie easily
And
made the other ones longer, or made them more impactful, make them feel like more of a thing. But they would do things where a song would start, and then it would change to something else, and then just as it was kind of starting, they would start to have dialogue, and the music would still be going for a second, and then for seemingly no reason, like the camera would cut, and it would be gone. Or it would go back to where the interrogation room is happening,
Yeah.
and the music would disappear. And then they go back to the scene, and the music would come back. It's like,
Pick and choose.
yeah, like,
Make this scene longer, make this scene shorter, but finish a song. Or at least come close to putting, rather than a clip.
just make it feel smoother than, like, it felt really ADD. It felt like I was changing channels over and over again with how much the music and the scenes had to change, and how short all the scenes were, and how they just kept hammering home, like, James McAvoy, something about him.
That smile. That cast.
Yeah. Something's going on here. Yes. We hope there is. We hope it happens soon. So, Any other thoughts from you guys? You guys liked it. I didn't care for it, so. All right, then.
Pretty much
Well, if you
covered
liked
it.
the video, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.